Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of Brian Plays. We're going to be playing another classic NES game, The Legend of Zelda. This is the first game of the franchise. And here's your story. I'm not going to delve too deep into the timeline because you can basically teach a college course about Zelda, but essentially after the Ocarina of Time, the timeline of the series diverged into three timelines. I believe one was when adult Link carried on after defeating Ganon. The other was when young Link went back in time and lived his life as a child. And there was one timeline that occurred after Ganon defeated Link, and that was called the Era of Decline. So in this era, Hyrule has been reduced to a small kingdom where the residents now live in caves, and that sets the background for this game. So although this game came out first chronologically, it is pretty late into the timeline. But I don't want to get into too many details on the timeline because when I do these videos, I play the game and I try to provide a little history on the actual making of the game. And, you know, sometimes I talk about the story and some tips, but I don't want a super Zelda super fan to correct me on any minor detail I might slip up on. So let's get started. This is a good recap on the items that we have. You know, this was a game where you had to look at the instruction manual to learn what exactly each sprite was, an item. Okay, I just had to figure out how to get my name in there. And what's special about this game is that it actually has a battery pack in which you can save your game. And this was revolutionary in games because now you could have that long adventure where you can put the shut off the NES and then come back to it later. I mean, in the past, if you played a long game, even Super Mario Bros. 3, if you didn't want to finish the game, you would have to, you know, leave it on. Go to bed and hope when your parents are vacuuming the floor or something, they don't take out your plug. No. So, I'm playing on the Switch version, so I'm still getting used to the buttons. But I can talk more about the game. Now, the story for this game is basically the land of Hyrule is pretty much engulfed in chaos because of Ganon and his army. Ganon is like the Prince of Darkness. He invaded the land and he stole the Triforce of Power. So, Princess Zelda was afraid he would actually acquire the Triforce of Wisdom, so she scattered that Triforce into 8 fragments, and they're hidden underground in dungeons. But Ganon found out about this, and he basically kidnapped her. But not before Zelda told her maid, Impa, she's more like her guardian, to find someone courageous enough to save the kingdom. So when Impa set out to find somebody, she was attacked by Ganon's army, and a young boy named Link appeared and rescued her. So now Link, having learned what happened to Zelda, he sets out on a quest to gather the fragments of the Triforce of Wisdom so he can defeat Ganon. So that's basically it. Ah, finally, there you go. We are in. But the save pack basically eliminated the need for long passwords and for leaving the game on. So the first thing you notice on the opening screen is that there's a cave. I mean, you could go up, you could go left or right, but most gamers would want to check out the cave. And in the caves, the old man who gives you the sword. So, I mean, it seems like a simple game mechanic, but in reality, with the designer, which was Shigeru Miyamoto and Takashi Tezuka, what they did was they forced you to communicate with somebody and to explore, and because of that, you were rewarded with a weapon. And this is the basis of the game. Because of this experience that you just had on the first screen, you realize, well, now I have to go into these caves. And two, I should talk with people. I might receive, you know, a weapon or an item. And another thing that happens is that you see the sword now under the A on the top bar, the status bar, and you pretty much learned half of the buttons now in the game. Now, I mentioned Miyamoto and Tezuka. If those names sound familiar, I mentioned them when I played the original Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. Well, they are also the makers of Zelda. Now, Zelda came out in 1986 in Japan, in February of '86. And basically, that was going to be a launch game for the Family Computer Disk System, which is known as the Famicom Disk System in Japan. And it was made side by side with Mario. Now, Mario and Zelda were clearly opposites in game concepts. Now, Mario was a very linear game. It even had points, almost in the arcade style. You can gather the points. And you could also go from point A to point B, and then continue on to the next level. And the ideas in Mario games were called Mario ideas. Zelda, on the other hand, was non-linear. It was basically everything that Mario wasn't. And Miyamoto purposely sought out to make these games opposites. So if there was a game that fit the Link Zelda mode, it would become a Zelda idea. So being made together, I guess they're brother and sister games, they did diverge apart from each other. So basically what I'm going to do is provide, I guess, a walkthrough, because this game, you know, you have to know what you're doing. And by no means am I an expert, but I played the game enough to pretty much know where I'm going. I'll probably get lost a few times, but you know, like pretty much all of my videos, it's a lesson in the game, some fun facts about the game, and it's also, you know, a complete playthrough. I played the games from beginning to end, so that's what I want to do here. So my first mission is to collect money. I'm one of those players that like to gather as many items as I can before I take on the real story. So, you know, I'm going to do the best I can in that manner. But yeah. So we're gonna have fun, okay? All right. So from the beginning of the screen, once you get the sword, we're gonna go right. Because our quest now is to collect money so we can purchase bombs. Now, when I play the game, I'm not speaking from a script or anything. I'm just kind of multitasking here. So my information in my head might not dictate what I say. So I have to forgive me for that. But I'll do my best to explain. Because it's kind of hard to play and talk at the same time. You should try it one day. It's not the easiest thing. And it gets harder and harder the more difficult the game gets. So I forget how much bombs are, but I think if we get around 20 items, 20 rupees, we'll be alright. So the idea of this game, I got a clock that stops all the enemies. The idea of this game was based on Miyamoto's adventures as a child. He grew up in a village in Japan, but there was a lot of land to walk around. There were forests and lakes and I guess even caves. And Miyamoto would love to explore and go on little adventures. And this was kind of like his fantasy put into a game. Now, there wasn't really a lot of source material. There's a bomb right there, look. These Otteroks are known to drop some bombs. Look at that. Yeah, there wasn't a lot of source material in, games to play that resembled this. I mean, the very first adventure games were text games. Basically, just stories you would read, as text on the TV screen, and you would type in commands, and you'd have to use your imagination for anything. There was really no visual representation of an adventure. And then you had games for the Atari, but the visuals were very archaic. So, all this had to be improvised in Miyamoto's head, and how are you going to translate this onto the actual, game? I don't think I need to buy bombs now since I already have 8 bombs. Yeah, it was a waste of money. Well, in this game you live and you learn. So, this game has no map screen. Although, I believe it came with a map if you got the game. I can't remember because it's been a long time. It's been 34 years. But the map is kind of in your head if you played this game all those times. So you'll have to improvise. Now over here, I believe if you put a bomb here, it should be a cave. And that's the classic jingle, and you pretty much uncover a secret. Now, in every instance that you have a choice between a red potion and a heart, you take the heart. And it's one heart to your health, and you have it forever. So we're gonna leave here. You always gotta watch out for these. They call them Zola, or they're River Zora. Oop. You got to be careful in these early sections of the game. And these are moblins. The blue enemy of every type is the stronger type. Now, if you touch this Armo statue and get your butt down those stairs, it's a secret to everybody. So that's a way to get 10 rupees real quick. So there were a lot of graphical limitations on the family disc system. So the graphics aren't, they're not going to blow you away. The soundtrack is a classic, but it's it's short. There's not a lot of music. You must be careful. You will die too. So, gotta be careful. good area to go back though and get money. So this is an opportune time to continue to collect money. And dying isn't going to ruin your record or anything. When you get hit, if you don't have full health, your sword loses strength and will no longer shoot projectiles. So we're gonna go back to that area where there was 2 Armos statues. Being very generous with the bombs. Alright, so now we're getting back up to where we were. You want to activate this Armos. And you get more rupees here. Alright. So you want to head back up. I want to make sure I did get this cave. So we're good with that. And you just want to keep on gathering heart containers. So I think if you put a bomb here, there should be, yeah, a cave here, and always take the heart. It's always best to kill every enemy you see on the screen, especially if they're easy. If they're hard, you might want to skip them. And also the enemies will regenerate at times. And sometimes it's useful to kill all the enemies on one screen and leave one left over, so that whenever you come back to that screen, there's only one enemy. So we're gonna try to get an upgrade. I think we can go in here. Let me see. Ah, I always get hit. Well, I don't want to get penalized if I make a mistake. But anyway, there is a secret up here. And hopefully I don't have too many rupees that this doesn't count all the way. It does, 203. I think you can have 250 rupees. I'm not sure. Alright, so now we have we're pretty rich now. But we are kind of weak. And we only have bombs. We're gonna head up the stairs here. And enter this cave. So now the old man gives you a letter, and you have to show it to an old woman. And you'll see why that's important later. So we go back down. Right now we're in the northeast corner of the map. We go up these stairs. Occasionally, if you keep killing enemies, you get a fairy, and that replenishes most of your hearts. At this point, it will replenish all of them. And then we have another cave to check out. So you get rewarded for going in caves. Sometimes you don't, but it's a necessity if you're playing for the first time to explore these caves. We'll buy the blue candle. Alright. And I think we go left. And left again, I believe. Okay, that's a blue Lionel. They're very strong. If you can kill it from a distance, that'll be great. These guys are actually in Breath of the Wild, and they're very tough as well. Alright. Master using it, and you can have this. This is the white sword. The only prerequisite for this sword is that you needed 5 hearts. And since we got 5 hearts, we can use it. This sword does twice the damage as your wooden sword. So, you know, we're really cooking now. So now our next quest is to get a shield. A better shield than what we have. Now, by all means, you can begin the game and start exploring and finding the first dungeon. You can do that, but it really pays to explore in these games, and that's the whole purpose of a non-linear game. It's an open world game, and for the most part, you can get to a lot of places without even acquiring an item. You pretty much have to follow the path here. There's nowhere else you can go. Alright, So there are 5 bushes here. We're gonna have to equip our candle. This is crucial for uncovering secrets in the overworld. That didn't really work out, did it? There we go. You can only use it once per screen, but when you come back you can recycle the candle as many times as you want. So there's another 30 rupees. And, oops, we're in a good position now to get our next item. This is actually close to, actually where we're gonna have to be later. One of the dungeons. Now you can use the candle over here for another stairwell. And 30 more rupees. Now stay over here. And let's see, I think it's this one. Now, one criticism of this game is that it's really cryptic. There is no indication that that bush has any secret in it. It's not a different hue. There's no difference in the sprite of the bush. But, you know, in reality, if you want to find an item, you literally have to bomb or burn every bush you see until you find a secret. Now, when American audiences got this game in July of 1987, they had access to like the Nintendo fan club, and there was already a hotline you can call for secrets. I believe there was a hotline, but I know there was like a newsletter, and people that subscribed to it would get this newsletter, and it gradually grew. You know, it'd be like 4 pages, and eventually it grew up to like 32 pages, and that was the precursor to the Nintendo Power magazine. And that was how people got their hints for this game, because you didn't have the internet back then. And this was a game that you went to school, and before class started or during lunch, you would talk with your friends in the schoolyard or on the bus, and you would share secrets about the game. And then all day long you would sit in class and you couldn't wait to get home to play Zelda and see if your friend was lying or if the rumors were true about a particular secret. Alright, so keep on moving this way. I'm trying not to get caught in a path where... I'm actually trying to give you a linear path to take in a non-linear game. So this place has the shield. And it's a lot cheaper here. You automatically equip it, so it's a lot bigger. There was also bait in here, but I don't think we need to buy that at the moment. Anyway, we'll continue. You can burn this bush for 10 more rupees. sword now kills the blue Octoroks in one hit, which is huge. I don't think there's a cave here, or... yeah, there's a cave. These are called Techites. Alright. We can buy arrows. Although we don't have a bow yet, we will get one soon. So if you look at our inventory, it's starting to fill up. Alright. Wow, look at that. Now we have a little more strength. We can start to take down these moblins without having to retreat all the time. See, now in this case you could leave one, so next time you enter the screen there'll only be one enemy. See, now that I killed them all, they'll all be respawned again. But it's really not a big deal. Alright. Only 10 here. But there are bigger rewards here. Let's see. I think it's this one. Alright. Money's always good. Alright. So now you gotta re-equip your bombs. I'll be using the items by accident a lot when I play. And now we got more rupees. Now unfortunately these areas do not respawn the money, but we're doing a little shopping spree now, so we needed the money. Now, if you want to know where we are in relation to the main map, take a look. We're right back to where we started. So, we pretty much come full circle. Now, we are going to go back up and continue left. Now we have another cave. And that's where the old lady is. And I think I do have to actually equip the item. Okay. Now you can buy medicine. I think the medicine just restores your health completely. You can use the blue medicine once and the red medicine twice. For the amount of money that we have, why not go red? Now, I like to unequip this because I have a very bad habit of hitting the wrong buttons, especially on this controller. Alright, now I want to get one more item before we actually begin the game. This is almost like the prologue for me. It's a goodie that we're getting. So let's see. I'm gonna go left. You don't have to fight if you don't want, but this item is gonna cost me some money. Any more money opportunities? I'll gladly take. Basically, when you get hit, your whole world changes, because now you're vulnerable. Alright. This is a dangerous area. You can actually see the game slow down. Kind of lags with all the activity. Alright. You can actually see a little divot in the wall here. I believe we can blow it up. That's actually an instance where there is kind of a hint. I guess, wait, there isn't, oh. Yeah, it wasn't that easy. That's 30 more rupees. Now we're gonna equip the candle again. And find our way back into the stairwell. Oh, that's 100, so I didn't need that many. Alright, so we're maxed out at 255. Alright, we're gonna do our best handling these monsters. Or we'll call them moblins. Alright, so bush time. We're actually going to leave that since we don't need it. We actually don't need that. Yeah, we can't carry anymore. So we're going to leave... Oh, can you imagine I got hit by that? So I guess we're gonna kill him now. I wanted a heart. These are good enemies to defeat to try to get a heart. Alright. Here's our heart. And I left one enemy there, so you'll notice it later. Alright, you have the 6 almost statues. You want to touch the top middle one. I'd rather come from the top so I don't disrupt any of the other ones. Alright. There you go, that item in the middle is the blue ring. That'll pretty much make you go broke. So you can shed a tear for your wallet, but with the blue ring, we have an item that it ups your defense in half. So any damage that enemies will give me is now cut in half. This item is essential. And you also get an outfit change that reflects that you got it. So you're not going to see the traditional green anymore. By the way, when Miyamoto created Link, he wanted a character that resembled Peter Pan. And if you see a picture of Peter Pan and Link in his normal green attire, you will recognize that they look very similar. And he chose Peter Pan because of his innocence and the fact that he was recognizable in his green outfit. And it's funny that Link has a fairy, Navi, just like Peter Pan had Tinkerbell. But ironically, whereas Tinkerbell is quiet in Peter Pan, Navi yells and screams and shouts to get Link's attention. Peter Pan is very talkative, but Link doesn't really talk at all, if you notice. So it's kind of funny how the dynamic of those pairs are different in personality, I guess you can say. And the name Link, by the way, has to do with just linking things together. Like, you're basically linking the adventure that you control in the game with your interaction with the game. So it's kind of like a link. Alright. So now that we got these items, we can actually tackle the first dungeon, which is called the Eagle Dungeon. And it's basically based on the shape. And the name Zelda, by the way, came from author F. Scott Fitzgerald's wife, whose name was Zelda. And Miyamoto said that he chose her because she was famous, well liked, and she was beautiful. So he named the princess Zelda in honor of her, which is nice. So now we're back at the start screen, and we have a bunch of items. So let's go find the first dungeon. Once again, we need money again. So you should kill all the enemies that you see. When the rupees are solid, they're worth 5. Remember this bridge I mentioned? This is where we're gonna have to go. See, I got hit and I didn't lose any hearts. That's because of the blue ring. I want to show you something too. Let's see. If you go over here and place a bomb here, you have a new area where you could buy a potion. So if the enemies start to overwhelm you, that's another spot that you can head. Alright, so we got all these items. We're way overpowered, but we're gonna check out dungeon number 1. And I think there's a locked door here. I think if you leave and come back, it's unlocked. Yeah, I see the top door is unlocked now. So that's a little secret. But we're not going to be short on keys. By the way, these dungeons were inspired by Miyamoto's family home in Japan. And when he was young, he would often get mixed up and confused with the sliding doors. So just think about what Miyamoto's house must have looked like with all these sliding doors. It was like a maze, and that inspired the dungeons. Those are keys. I also love this music. It's one of my most favorite themes. This room contains Stalfos, and I already got the key. But we want money, so let's keep killing them. Yeah, look at that. So if we didn't do that little enter and exit trick, this door would be locked. And the key, we got 2 keys now, but we would have been unlocking this door. But we don't have to. kill all the enemies here, it gets you another key. And you can also blow up the wall here. It leads to a shortcut, but we don't have to go there now because we don't want to bypass the rooms yet. Alright. This handy item is the compass. It shows you the location of the Triforce inside the dungeon, which basically guides you to the boss. It's not necessary to have to beat a dungeon, but it's cool to have. You can also blow this wall up too. A thing you could do on the Switch, you know, you could save the game if you'd like. And that's very useful when deciding if the wall blows up or not. You can plant a bomb on every wall in all 4 directions. And if there's not a secret, refresh the game. It's also good to make money as well when you want to guess which, in one of those caves, you can guess which pile has the most money. You can always save the game, see if you like your result and continue, or if you don't like your result, start over. I don't think there's anything in here, but the key we had works on this door. These always remind me of like frightened Hershey Kisses. They're called gels. I think they're the weakest enemy. Most peninsula is the secret. Whether that helps you or not, that is a secret that the man is telling you about. We still need to find the dungeon map. And voila, there it is. And there you go. So they called this the Eagle Dungeon because of the shape. Now I could not use my sword because I have to step all the way in the room. Okay. These enemies have boomerangs on them. They're called Gorayas or Goriyas. Killing them all nets you a key. It's good that we have the white sword, because it would take a lot of hits with your original sword. These are blade traps. Every dungeon has a room like this that contains a special item. And in this case, it's the bow. And we already have arrows too. So that's a good sign. We have 80 arrows, I believe. The ammo, actually the ammo for your bow is 1 rupee. Alright. I remember I was in Florida. I always drive to Florida in the summer, and I remember as a kid. I think we went to visit my cousin's house, and when we were on this strange block, I must have been like 6 years old, and we got out of the car and I could hear this song playing. Somebody had their Nintendo one so loud, but it was a spooky block. It might have been a dead-end street. And just hearing this dungeon music, it was a surreal feeling. Now we're going down where the dungeon map was. And we're gonna go in here. I mean, you can easily follow your map now, so it's very difficult to get lost. Did I get the boomerang? Yeah. I must have stepped over it. Alright, so we got a boomerang now. It's basically used to stun enemies. You can hurt weak enemies with it, like those gels and the keys. Yeah, I didn't even notice I got the item. These are floor masters, right? No, wall masters. They're creepy, but they'll bring you back to the beginning of the dungeon. I think one of the scariest enemies in Zelda are the wall masters, especially in Ocarina of Time. They used to freak me out. They were scarier than the Skullatolas. Alright, so this is the room before the boss, and when we go in here you will see Aquamentus. His weak spot is his head. And we're at a huge advantage. Oh, look at that. Our sword is strong. We have full power. And that was such a pushover. We could use bombs on him too. So that's pretty much it. The room that he's guarding has the Triforce of Wisdom, or at least 1/8 of it. Whenever you get that, you get full health again, and you're warped outside. Alright. So I will save it now. And that is your first taste of Zelda. We got a lot of items to power ourselves up, and now we explored the first dungeon. So, next time we will explore the Moon Dungeon. So, I hope you enjoyed my little playthrough. Next time we'll talk more about the history of the game, this one in particular, and I'll share some fun facts about it. Okay, so have a great night. And I will see you soon.